It's easy to get stuck reaching for the same familiar fruits and vegetables, even when you know a colorful variety is key. Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie supplements don't replace fruits and vegetables, but it makes it easy to add more variety to what you already eat. With 31 ingredients that are whole fruits and vegetables, switching it up is easy because we've already taken care of the hard part. Go to balanceofnature.com and get a free fiber and spice supplement, plus 35% off your first set as a new preferred customer by using discount code POD.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Breaking news.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, only hours until polls open up in key states. And tomorrow's elections may be some of the most pivotal ones in America, especially if you look at what's going on, of course, New Jersey, the governor's race, Virginia, the governor's race, and of course, New York City, the race for mayor. And some new polls that just came out are showing some promising signs for Andrew Cuomo. A new poll shows that Cuomo is within 4 points of Zohran Mamdani. That makes it a very competitive race. And if it was one-on-one, Cuomo would handily beat Mamdani, according to this new poll. So there are so many questions tonight. The big news also, so many people have already done early voting in New York, historic numbers in the city. Over the numerous days where they had the early voting, 735,000 people participated in early voting, 4 times as many as 2021. And the 735,000 is about 14% of all registered voters in New York City. There's about 5.3 million in total in New York City in the 5 boroughs. And just to give you a sense, a lot of people are wondering, will it come close to the 2 million voter mark? There were those in the past, 1989, 1993, 1989, Dinkins versus Rudy Giuliani. And if you look at the history in the last one, in 2021, only 1.1 million voted. That was when Eric Adams trounced Curtis Sliwa in that race. So where is this going now? Democrats are 6-1 in terms of voter enrollment in New York City. And in the last few hours, some big news. Elon Musk saying you must vote for Andrew Cuomo to save New York City. He is deeply concerned about Zohran Mamdani and his very radical, very extreme policies. And also President Trump just a little bit ago putting out on Truth Social saying, quote, if a communist, Mamdani, wins the election for New York City mayor, it's unlikely that I'll be contributing federal funds other than very minimum, because if a communist takes control of the once great city, there is a 0 chance of success or even survival. He's also further encouraging people to vote for Andrew Cuomo, saying that it is imperative that Zohran Mamdani wins. Zohran Mamdani loses. It is absolutely imperative that Zohran Mamdani does not make it to Gracie Mansion. He, of course, is a self-professed Democratic Socialist. He, of course, has extreme views. I just saw another one where he made some crazy comments about divesting from anything close to Israel. This guy is a rabid extremist. And here's a little bit more from President Trump. He said, whether you personally like Andrew Cuomo or not, you really have no choice. You must vote for him and hope he does a fantastic job. He says he is capable of it, and Mamdani is not. He also took it to task against Curtis Sliwa, saying that a vote for Curtis Sliwa who he says looks much better without the beret, is a vote for Mamdani. So he is encouraging Republicans and everybody to vote for Cuomo, who he says is capable, and he certainly is with his experience as governor, and that he is the guy. And if you look at the polls, he is right there on the door of Zohran Mamdani. It looks like maybe Mamdani has a cap and that Cuomo is climbing up in these final days. And of course, again, polls open in just a matter of hours. Here is President Trump on 60 Minutes talking about Zohran Mamdani and the choice for New York.
Zohran Mamdani, 34-year-old Democratic Socialist. He's the
communist, not socialist, communist. He's far worse than a socialist.
Some people have compared him to a left-wing version of you, charismatic, breaking the old rules. What do you think about that?
Well, I think I'm a much better-looking person than him, right?
Classic Donald Trump, but sending out a message, again, just a few hours ago, imploring Republicans, Democrats, independents, everybody in New York City, A, to get out and vote, and B, that Cuomo is clearly the person to beat Zohran Mamdani, and that Zohran Mamdani would be a disaster for the city that so many of us love. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. And you are listening to the Rita Cosby Show across America tonight. And joining us now is the former chief of staff for the greatest mayor of New York City, Rudy Giuliani, Tony Carbonetti. Tony, we are so happy to have you here. Your thoughts first off about President Trump's comments, and obviously Elon Musk echoing the same thing.
Well, I think what the president's saying is really what most of New York is saying. You know, we have a choice now. Are we going to elect a socialist or are we going to elect a Democrat? And I think even Republicans are saying we need to elect a Democrat. I think what's happening is, you know, we're not a socialist city. We're a democratic city. You see it, the numbers, as you said, we're 4-1 registered Democrats over Republicans. In the early voting, that's 6.5 or 7-1. Republicans made up only 11% of early voting, which is why earlier today when we were on the show, I said to Curtis Sliwa voters, give it up. You're just wasting your vote. If you vote for Curtis, you might as well vote for Zohran right now. With only 11% of Republicans voting early, Curtis has no shot of winning. So we got to rally behind Andrew Cuomo.
What are you looking for also, Tony? And you're a Republican, right, too? So this is a powerful message from you.
I'm a Republican. I'm telling you to vote for the Democrat, Andrew Cuomo. I don't want to have a socialist city.
Well, you know what, Tony? I keep looking at things. I just saw another videotape right before air just now, and it shows that, you know, Zohran Mamdani, this is I think it was 2021, screaming at the top of his lungs about, you know, divest from anything tied to Israel. We've seen some of these other hateful comments. He really is, and we've talked about this, and I've said this, I believe he's the most dangerous politician of my lifetime because he's not just his socialist views, you know, the free buses and the government-run grocery stores. This guy is a true believer. And the more we hear about him and some of his alliances, it really does come down to somebody who vote for somebody who you believe clearly at least loves and cares about New York City and is not anti-Semitic, is not anti-police, is not anti a lot of these things. This Zohran Mamdani is absolutely dangerous, Tony Carbonetti.
You know, Rita, you cannot run a city of 8 million people and be a child and say stupid things like that, like defund the police or compare the police to the IDF or divest. I mean, you have to be an adult. There's decisions that have to get made every day, and they can't by someone with the lack of experience this man has, and just the lack of experience is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is stunning. He just turned 34. He's an unremarkable assemblyman. Most people don't even remember him there. He wasn't there for 80% of the votes. Right, he didn't do anything.
All of these things he talks about he's going to give you now, he never tried to do any of that in the assembly. This is all just part of the playlist. You know, they tested a bunch of things that works oh, everything's expensive. We need to make an affordable city. So somewhere on the chalkboard in some DSA, lab, they came up with this idea that here's going to be his talking points. We'll take him, we'll put him out there, and we know how to win a Democratic primary. I've said in the past that progressives are very good at winning Democratic primaries here in New York City, and he's the chosen candidate. But he never tried to do any of these things while he was in the assembly.
Right. He didn't try to do it. And you're right. It's just all crazy talking points. And sadly, there are people buying it. And Tony Carbonetti, the other thing, too, a little history of this guy. I mean, his sort of mentor, if you will, is a woman named Linda Sarsour. She had to resign from a women's march because of her anti-Semitic, anti-gay views. And this person is sort of the poster child for the Democratic Socialists of America. She's saying in the last 24 hours that he's going to be beholden to me, that we're going to be there with him in Gracie Mansion. What does that mean for the city we love if you have people like that and some of the other people that we've talked about on the earlier show?
Yeah, it means that he doesn't have enough bodies. It takes hundreds of people to staff a mayoral. City Hall alone has hundreds of employees. Then you have all the agencies. You'll be in charge of 500,000 people. Someone that comes into this job usually has a network and also a party behind them. And the party helps you do this. Well, in this situation, his party is going to be the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America, the people that tell us to defund the police. Those are is that really the group you want? Putting people into City Hall to make decisions about what happens in New York City? Like I said, there's 8 million people, 1 million visitors a day, subways, buses. We have all kinds of terrorist threats. And is the DSA the group you want staffing City Hall? Let's be real.
Right. It is. It is absolutely incredible. And the other issue, not even just the defund the police, they open the jail cells, the let's forget the misdemeanors, send a social worker. I mean, these things are like lunatic. And yet here we are. So what are you looking for? The polls are going to open in a matter of hours from now, Tony Carbonetti. What are you going to be looking for in the numbers and sort of guide us through what tomorrow could look like?
I've been saying all along, I think Zohran is capped at about 650,000 votes. I think Curtis, who came into this with roughly the 300 to 325,000 a Republican normally gets, will actually get less than that. I think he'll get about 225. So I keep saying if we get to 1-6, we're in good shape and Andrew wins this. So 1-5, 1-6, I think we're okay. I think we're going to blow through that. If voting continues the way it has now, we're going to get to 1-7 or 1-8.
Which would be, near historic numbers. I mean,
Huge
everybody
numbers.
is talking about this. Everybody's talking about this. What do you want to say to voters across the country tonight? Obviously, we have an enormous listenership on WABC Radio here on the Rita Cosby Show. And we have many listeners who have relatives and friends in New York City, Tony Carbonetti.
I tell everyone, as New York goes, the country goes. And the last thing you want is New York City going socialist. It would be a message to the world, actually, if New York went socialist. We're the capital. We're the capital of the world. We're the capital of the capitalist society. We don't want to go socialist.
Yeah, we definitely don't at all. And Tony, I want to make sure happy wife, happy life. Your wife ran the marathon, right?
My wife ran the marathon yesterday for the third time. God bless her. She finished. And Rita, just so you know, I did have her vote early, just in case, you have to always... But no, very, very proud of her. Both my daughters came in to watch her. And then, we're very, very proud of her.
Well, bravo to your wife. My dad used to run, as I told you, Tony, many marathons. So I know how much training and work goes into that. That's awesome. And Tony, I know you're going to be with us tomorrow night, because we will have the best coverage anywhere.
I'll be there for the victory.
Yep. We can't wait. Hopefully it is a huge victory for New York, right? That is the bottom line. And hopefully people who are listening tonight and listen to the President of the United States, Elon Musk, you, and so many others who know the numbers and know what's at stake, clearly.
That Musk guy and that Trump guy have a little more followers than I do on Twitter.
I don't know. You got a lot of them. After being here on the show, you might have a bigger one. Who knows? Tony, thank you so much. You're terrific. Thank you. I look forward to it. I'll see you tomorrow, Tony. Thank you very, very much. And everybody, I'll take your calls when we come back. An enormous election night. And we are literally just a few hours away. 1-800-848-9222. And you're listening to The Rita Cosby Show.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's easy to get stuck reaching for the same familiar fruits and vegetables, even when you know a colorful variety is key. Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie supplements don't replace fruits and vegetables, but it makes it easy to add more variety to what you already eat. With 31 ingredients that are whole fruits and vegetables, switching it up is easy because we've already taken care of the hard part. Go to balanceofnature.com and get a free fiber and spice supplement, plus 35% off your first set as a new preferred customer by using discount code POD.
This National Foster Care Month, Marine Toys for Tots is providing hope to children who need it most. Staff Sergeant James Caldwell, who grew up in foster care himself, shares that while handing out gifts at a Toys for Tots distribution event, a little girl looked up at him, reached into her bag, pulled out a stuffed animal and said, "Someone needs to make sure you get a toy too." That simple gesture embodies the heart of Marine Toys for Tots, ensuring every child, including those in foster care, experiences the kindness that can transform their future. Visit toysfortots.org today.
This episode is brought to you by Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus has movies. So many movies. The movies you've seen 1,000 times and could watch 1,000 more. Iconic movies your friends can't believe you haven't seen. New movies, classic movies, new takes on classic movies. So whether you're into Top Gun or The Naked Gun, Mean Girls or Mission Impossible, Smurfs or Sonic the Hedgehog, there's a mountain of movies to discover on Paramount Plus. Start streaming today.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana.
It's the Rita Cosby Show. Breaking news.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, as we mentioned with Tony Carbonetti just a few minutes ago, Elon Musk putting out a message and weighing in on the New York City mayor's race. Here it is. It's a short message, but boy, it says a lot. Quote, "Remember to vote tomorrow in New York. Bear in mind," he says, "that a vote for Curtis is really a vote for who he calls Mamdani, or whatever his name is. Vote Cuomo." That is the message from Elon Musk, sending out a message saying, SOS, New York needs help, and it cannot fall to an extremist who is a socialist and not even a real Democrat. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Robert in Brooklyn on line 2. Go ahead, Robert.
Hi, Rita. Thanks for taking my call. Well, on Friday, I early voted for Cuomo. And just a heads up, you know, when I went there, the person who registered me, had me sign in, they warned me that you could only vote for one candidate for mayor. People might get confused because there's 2 rows. So they want me to only vote for one person. And, you know, you have to look a little bit because Cuomo, he's like on the
second row.
The right side.
Right. He's on the right side. I voted too. I voted actually on Saturday. And you're right. You have to kind of look for it. In fact, Cuomo's doing ads reminding people to look for it. But you're right. That's a powerful message. Now, what do you make of Trump and Elon Musk, these messages, Robert?
Okay, well, just to highlight what President Trump said, he said, quote, "A vote for Curtis Sliwa, who looks much better without the beret, is a vote for Mamdani, Also, President Trump said, whether you personally like Andrew Cuomo or not, you really have no choice. You must vote for him, meaning Cuomo. And hope Cuomo, he does a fantastic job, unquote. It's a long quote. I didn't read the whole thing.
Yeah, I
But
did,
President
actually.
Trump, and so he said you have to vote for him because there's the only chance. Cuomo is closing the gap, as you mentioned. You know, there's a poll Miranda Devine had posted on Sunday where he was closing, and then you mentioned another poll where he's closing. And I just wanted to mention one thing about Eric Adams. You made a comment.
Well, we got to go, Robert, unfortunately. Call us tomorrow. We got to go. But your message is very powerful. Get out and vote, everybody. New York City depends on it.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Adobe Acrobat Studio, so brand new. Show me all the things PDFs can do. Do your work with ease and speed. PDF Spaces is all you need. Do hours of research in an instant with key insights from an AI assistant. Pick a template with a click. Now your prezzo looks super slick. Close that deal? Yeah, you won. Do that, doing that, did that, done. Now you can do that with Acrobat. Now you can do that with the all-new Acrobat. It's time to do your best work with the all-new Adobe Acrobat Studio.
You don't technically need this car. You say that out loud to yourself. You say, I have no space. You say, I'm just looking. Then you click. Then you zoom in on photo number 87 and whisper, oh no. Then you text a friend, the one who always enables you. You say to yourself, this is the last one, knowing it is not. You don't need this car. But maybe, just maybe, this car needs you. Bring a trailer. It's never just a car.
I turned off news altogether.
I hate to say it, but I don't trust much of anything.
It's the rage bait.
It feels like it's trying to divide people.
If we got clear facts, maybe we can calm down a little.
NBC News brings you clear reporting. Let's meet at the facts. Let's move forward from there. NBC News, reporting for America.
Once upon a mundane morning, Barb's day got busy without warning. A realtor in need of an open house sign. No, 50 of them, and designed before 9.
My head hurts.
Any mighty tools to help with this plight? Aha! Barb made her move. She opened Canva and got in the groove.
Bulk creating Canva sheets. Create 50 signs fit for suburban streets.
Done in a click, all complete.
Sweet!
Now, imagine what your dreams can become when you put imagination to work at Canva.com.
Rita Cosby is on. The Rita Cosby Show presents Back the Blue.
And this Back the Blue segment coming from Cleveland, Ohio, where a dramatic rescue at Wade Lagoon highlighted the quick thinking and courage of local officers. One of the officers and two also University Hospital police officers jumped into a frigid lagoon to help a man struggling during a mental health crisis. They got a call for help after the man left the emergency room before being discharged, and he was spotted near the lagoon. He began struggling in the water, and then two officers tried to rescue him, but they couldn't go far enough due to a 20-foot drop-off in the lagoon. That's when Officer Riddler, who's a former high school and Cleveland State swimmer, who also worked as a lifeguard and a swim coach, was able to navigate the deep water. He said, I know I have the ability and knowledge to be able to help him, and I am going to do just that. He was able to grab a hold of the man, brought him near the other officers, and then all three of them pulled the man to shore. He had no pulse and was not breathing, but officers performed CPR and saved the man's life. He was then taken to a local hospital and is expected to make a full recovery thanks to the fast action of our men and women in blue. Well, we're talking, of course, about what's at stake tomorrow night in the big elections, certainly for sure in New York. Defund the police, open up the jail cells. These are policies that Zohran Mamdani has supported for years upon years. These are not one-offs. It's in his own words and it's in his own writings. And some of the things are just so troubling. Here's a comment that he made. This is in 2023. So this wasn't that long ago. It wasn't like he was a little baby in diapers. This was just 2 years ago. And here's a video of him blasting the NYPD and also Israel, the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces.
I think in the first question, there was this setting up of a context where this idea of hyper-local and international. And I think that for anyone to care about these issues, we have to make them hyper-local. We have to make clear that when the boot of the NYPD is on your neck, it's been laced by the IDF. Right? We have to make, not specifically that example all the time, but just to say that for working class people who have very little time, who have so many stresses, who are under so many pressures, there isn't that much time for symbolism. We have to make it materially connected to their life. And I think that what opportunity we have is that we are in a country where those connections abound, especially in New York City. You have so many opportunities to make clear the ways in which that struggle over there is tied to capital's interest over here.
Really lovely. And we are on the brink of a major election where that man, 34 years old, completely inexperienced and completely fanatical, could be at the helm of the biggest city in America and start not only a disaster for New York, but also a troubling trend across this country. And here's a little bit more from him. This was just recently. Remember, when he talked about 9/11, he wasn't thinking of the victims of 9/11. He was thinking of his aunt, who it turned out really wasn't his aunt, but he said the story of how she experienced a dirty look, and I guess that was the real victim of 9/11.
I was speaking about my aunt. I was speaking about Zehra Fouy, my father's cousin, who sadly passed away a few years ago.
Yeah, because he had to clarify, remember, that it wasn't really an aunt. He meant somebody else. And he said she got a dirty look while she was on the subway. And that was just terrible what happened to her. And of course, first of all, that's not what people think about when they think about 9/11. They think of the 3,000 people who died. And the fact that we may be hours away now, guys, from this guy becoming the mayor of New York City, which would mean he would be the mayor on the 25th anniversary of 9/11. Let's hope that is not the case, which is why everybody listening in New York City, and we have many listeners on the Rita Cosby Show in New York City, vote like your life depends on it. Bring a friend, bring a relative, bring a neighbor, go out there, bring somebody, make sure that this is historic in terms of the numbers, and make sure that New York City unequivocally says no to a socialist who would destroy New York and whose policies are just so vile and so shameful and so anti-Semitic, anti-police, anti-law and order. New York City needs to say no to this man who many people believe will be the most dangerous politician in modern times. It is important to get out and tell everybody you know to get out to the polls and vote against Zohran Mamdani. And you heard tonight from President Trump saying the way to do that, he says you must vote for Andrew Cuomo. He believes that he will do a good job. He believes he is clearly the choice to beat Zohran Mamdani. And if you look at the polls, President Trump is definitely right. He's also suggesting that Curtis Sliwa should not be in the race. That's the message also from Elon Musk, because they know how high the stakes are. And here's a new poll, as we were just talking earlier. This is an Atlas Intel survey that just came out a few hours ago, and it has Mamdani with 43.9% of support, Cuomo 39%. So 43 to 39, we are talking 4 percentage points. That is extremely, extremely close. And in this one, GOP nominee Curtis Sliwa remains steadfastly in third place at 15%. So Cuomo more than double the amount of Curtis Sliwa. And of course, if it were a one-on-one race, according to this survey, handily Cuomo would win. So, boy, oh boy, you look at, there'll be a lot of assessments the next day, but we are where we are. And you heard that President Trump is saying, get out and vote for Cuomo. The future of New York City is on the line. Also, Elon Musk putting out a message saying, remember to vote tomorrow in New York. He says, further, bear in mind that a vote for Curtis is really a vote for Mamdani, or whatever his name is. Vote for Cuomo. Clearly a cohesive message on who can beat right now Zohran Mamdani. It is absolutely imperative that you get out and vote and you block Mamdani from becoming mayor. And if this isn't a reason enough, here's Al Sharpton. Of course, he has to weigh in. And he said, oh, it's just terrible. It's Islamophobia. Why maybe people don't like Mamdani. No, it's his radical views. Al Sharpton, but here he is.
I am outraged at the ugly Islamophobia that has been used in this campaign to act as though that every Muslim is a terrorist, and to act like because somebody campaigned and shake somebody's hand who they don't know, whatever you've accused them of, whether you accuse them right or wrong, therefore makes them have something to connect it to something as ugly that happened to us as 9/11 is an insult to the intelligence of all New Yorkers. If you can't get a vote on your record, don't play us against each other. I'm against anti-Semitism. I'm against Islamophobia. But to bring it into the politics of the biggest city in the world should not be allowed to go unchecked. We are not going to sit by silently while they do this. We are Christians. I'm a born-again Baptist, but I embrace the Muslim community to come from the shadows, the Jewish community to come from the shadows, and let's walk down Broadway together.
Which, by the way, peaceful, loving Muslims, Jewish people walking down together, it ain't going to happen with Zohran Mamdani, Al Sharpton, which is exactly why you don't want to vote for him. Because he is clearly saying he doesn't believe Israel should be a Jewish state. He won't recognize it. He's not even condemning the phrase globalize the intifada. He just said he won't use it because some people find it reprehensible. This man is anti-Semitic and disgusting in so many of the things he said. And it's not Islamophobic to criticize his completely anti-Semitic beliefs that are actually downright dangerous. Absolutely downright dangerous. And here is Zohran Mamdani in his own words where he talks about wanting to reduce the jail population. That's really going to make New York City safe.
The jail population of Rikers has increased since Eric Adams has come into office by more than 1,000 additional incarcerated New Yorkers. And what is quite staggering to me is that we know that we can reduce that jail population to less than 4,000. I mean, Vital City had an article about a number of different proposals that could reduce it to 3,700. And some of this also just has to look at the average stay on Rikers in the 90s was 50 days. Now it's more than 100. There are more than 1,500 people on Rikers who have been held there for more than a year. So I do think many of the reforms that have to be made are also reforms around the court system and ensuring that people are actually having speedy.
Yeah, right. That's what we're thinking of. Let's just open up the jail cells because that's part of the DSA policy, the Democratic Socialists of America. Here's a little bit more where he pushed to defund the NYPD and spend money more on social workers.
About defund the NYPD, the entirety of the push is defund the NYPD and refund all of these different social services and things that actually create safety.
Now changing his tune, claiming he doesn't want to defund the police.
I've been very clear about my view of public safety and the critical role that police have in creating that. The vision that we've put forward in this campaign despite what others may say, is not to defund the police. It is, in fact, to allow those officers to respond to these serious crimes that many of them signed up to address.
Yeah, and there will be an exodus of the NYPD like we have never, ever seen. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Alan Yonkers on line 4. Go ahead, Al. Your thoughts tonight.
Yeah, Rita, thank you. Yeah, my thoughts are that, like Governor Cuomo pointed out clearly, Mamdani has no experience. I mean, if we have a Hurricane Sandy, if we had a terrorist attack, here's a guy who's a young guy. He's missed 80% of the votes in the assembly. It would be disastrous. So I hope the city residents tomorrow do what's right. And I've had my differences with Governor Cuomo. If I could vote tomorrow, I would vote for Governor Cuomo because too much is on the line.
And that's, that is really the key, Al. That
yes.
This is not a normal election. And you and I have covered politics. I know your history. You know politics very well. I've covered so many elections. This is not a typical election. That's why this is such an extraordinary issue. And that's why he's saying, listen, you may not like Cuomo. You may not. It's not like, Trump loves Cuomo. That's not the case. But he's basically saying, hold your nose and vote for him because he is the guy who can block Mamdani. And if you look at the polls, he is 1,000% correct. I mean, if you look at these latest numbers, there is no doubt that it looks like Cuomo seems to be surging in the final weeks, maybe as people are starting to learn about how nuts this Mamdani guy is. And he seems to have a bit of a cap, Mamdani, in terms of his support. So if he stays and more people come out, it can overcompensate and he can be beaten. I believe that there is a major turnout in New York City, and there certainly was a major turnout in the early voting. But if the major turnout tomorrow is supposed to be nice weather in the city,
that's great.
So that will hopefully help. But people have to come out in droves and do a referendum that we will not accept an anti-Semitic, anti-capitalist, anti-American values, I believe in many ways, candidate to take over the biggest city in America. It needs to be a referendum that good people are going to stand together. And clearly Trump is right. If you look at the polls, that Cuomo is the person who can beat Mamdani, and he clearly doesn't have the same views that we just talked about. It's not an ideal, but the stakes are way too high. You cannot let this Mamdani win, and Cuomo clearly is the guy who could beat him, or at least the closest one to beat him. And there is a chance, Al, based on these polls. So are you optimistic, Al? What are your thoughts as we head into Election Day?
Yes, I'm optimistic because I think the good citizens of New York City realize that not only will Mamdani put us in a crisis with crime, he'll also put us in a fiscal hole, probably worse than the mid-'70s with Abe Beame, when he inherited a mess from John Lindsay, and the city was in a terrible deficit. So I hope the good citizens of New York City, Staten Island, Republicans realize that as much as Curtis Sliwa is law and order, he's at 15%. And I hope they do what's right and they vote for Governor Cuomo.
Yeah, I think people have absolutely no choice. The stakes are way too high. And this is not a time to do a vote for someone that maybe makes you feel good or whatever. You got to vote strategically and vote to block what could be an enormous disaster that I believe, Al, may even be irreversible. If this guy gets in, that's why the stakes are way too high and you have to do the right thing. Vote for New York City, not for necessarily an individual who maybe you like somebody else better, but if they can't win, do not vote for them. That's the bottom line. Don't waste your vote. That's the bottom line, Al. Sadly, but that's the truth.
Yes, I agree. I mean, hopefully tomorrow, the vote, the more people come out to vote, hopefully the older people, that helps Governor Cuomo. Of course, it's going to be close because whenever you have a third party person, three people, and of course, Curtis Sliwa has name recognition, but I'm optimistic.
And Al, you got to tell all your friends in New York City. Yeah, I know you got a lot of friends. You better be. You got to be phone banking and calling every single one of them and tell them to come out and vote and bring friends too. Okay, Al?
Definitely. I'm already doing it. I have some friends in Woodlawn, which is in the Bronx, and they're going to go out and do what's right and vote for Governor Cuomo.
Yeah, we got to win. We got to defeat Mamdani 1,000%. Al, thank you very much. Everybody, we'll continue your calls after the break.
The Rita Cosby Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Commercial Insurance. Business owners, meet Progressive Insurance. They make it easy to get discounts on commercial auto insurance and find coverages to grow with your business. Quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
This is the Rita Cosby Show.
And let's continue with your calls, guys, as we are very close to Election Day 2025. Let's go to Deborah in the Bronx on line 2. Go ahead, Deborah, your thoughts tonight.
Yeah, hi, Rita. Well, I was a devoted Curtis fan. In the last election, I got his T-shirt. I wore it around all this summer. I gave him money and everything. That on Saturday, I just held my nose. And I went in and I voted for Cuomo.
And why did you do that? Why did you feel you had to do that?
Because we can't have Mamdani. Look, I love Curtis's policies. I love his ideas, on transportation, on taxing the university buildings, everything. I really like Curtis, but he's not going to win. The numbers are not there. And we cannot risk a Mamdani. And so I'm just begging Curtis people, just don't waste your vote.
Yeah, it's too important. By the way, Deborah, it is too important. The issue at stake, just like you said, it's the future of New York City. It's the future of America in many ways. This is not a normal election where everybody can just kind of vote for whoever and feel good about whoever they like to vote for. There's way too much at stake. And anything you could do to block what will be catastrophic for New York City and America, I believe Jewish groups it will be catastrophic for. I believe many freedom-loving groups will be blocked. There are just so many issues. The more I hear about this guy, the more troubling. Every NYPD officer that I have talked to, I think unanimously they have talked about leaving. This guy's hanging around with a guy named Hassan Piker, who had said America deserved 9/11. You want this guy to be at Gracie Mansion in the mayor's office on the 25th anniversary? That would be a disgrace. Really quick, Deborah, your thoughts.
And my last thought is that I was disappointed that Curtis didn't unite with Cuomo and create a united front to get rid of this guy.
By the way, I 100% agree. He should have gone with Cuomo. It would have sent a powerful message and tell everybody to vote for Cuomo.
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy.
Download and subscribe
at BeBullish.com.